You're looking at coal power plant generating 3.9 gigawatts of power, and it is also an Art Deco skyscraper. And dare I say that it is a stackable blueprint in Satisfactory 1.0. Aside of having inspiration from the Eastern Columbia building in Los Angeles, this power plant is the result of me adapting my old 4x4 coal power plant blueprint. So, how it goes from here to here? After all, there are several challenges when it comes to vertical stacking in Satisfactory, and this video will cover it all. So skyscrapers, here we go! I want to begin this video by explaining the middle ground between this 4x4 coal power plant and this Art Deco skyscraper. And the middle ground would be 5x5 coal power plant blueprint. The layout of this blueprint is easy, but nevertheless it holds precursor techniques for the skyscraper design. First, we need to understand the layout of machinery. It would be quite similar for both power plants, either it is skyscraper or flat. Legacy 4x4 blueprint was humble version for 2 coal power generators and 1 underclocked water pump on the side. With introduction of summer slopes in Satisfactory 1.0, power shards became way more accessible even in the early to mid game, and overclocking power plants is the most natural use of power shards in Satisfactory. After all, there are no downsides to overclocking power plants, only the space savings. And well, we are doing the blueprint, so space is kinda crucial. So, how far away we can overclock one single 5x5 blueprint worth of coal power generators? While you can totally jam 5 coal power generators into 5x5, I still want to fit power storage batteries and to create, well, believable exterior. This brings me to only 3 coal power generators per blueprint, with the smokestacks being symmetrical to the center of the structure. This conveniently leaves me with space for power storage batteries on the side and plenty of space for logistics of coal and water. And main logical and logistical limiting factor is water. I do prefer to pop 1 water extractor per blueprint, if it is, well, convenient. I do have my own legacy beef with Mark II pipes, and honestly, Mark I pipes just look better in Keterum paint, and this obviously do set the upper limit of coal power generators per blueprint to 300 units of water per minute, which is well the capacity of Mark I pipe. For 3 coal power generators, it results in 2 generators at 200% of a clock and 1 single generator at 250% maximum. And this is total of 650% of coal power generation per blueprint for a total of 487.5 megawatts of power. So, in this case, blueprint water consumption is just under 300 units. And while you can go for like multiple water pumps and connect them together, come on. I do prefer to pop 1 single fully overclocked water extractor for that 300 water units per minute. Also, if you pop 5x5 coal power plant blueprints back to back, you can place exactly 2 water extractors in between those buildings. Pop the roof over the water extractors and you get yourself sleek and cohesive modular building. So, it is 1 overclocked water pump per blueprint, but on the coal side, it is 97.5 coal per minute. At the first glance, it is not really convenient. It does look like an odd number, well, unless if you multiply it by 8 and you get 780 coal per minute. Exactly the capacity of Mark V belt. So, 8 blueprints with, well, Mark V belts can generate something about 3.9 gigawatts of power. Although Mark V belts makes a little sense with the coal power, since, well, probably by that stage of the game you would bathe in the fuel power and tackle with nuclear. But if we design this coal power plant with Mark IV belts as the minimum requirement and possible upgrade to maximum Mark Vs, well, it makes way more sense on the game progression front. Just upgrade to Mark V when you get the Mark V. And Mark IV belts can actually fit something about 5 blueprints worth of coal power generators. Not exactly, but well, close enough, and come on, the temporary setup is just the most permanent setup anyway. And with horizontal stacking of such a blueprint comes even more challenges. The most natural way is to feed 1 belt through the blueprint sides, making so-called manifold. This saves quite a lot of time on this setup, but what if you want to connect coal on the other side of the blueprint? Well, it is not convenient at all. And you will say, well, just make 2 separate blueprints for 2 separate input sides. And you know what? No! This is the best way how to embarrass yourself before almighty automation hordes. And I will not embarrass myself. This is why I developed simple omnidirectional socket system. Now, you can connect coal from any side of the blueprint and get the same result. The system is quite simple. There are 2 belts going into the separate directions. One of them is connected to all the coal generators, and another one have the splitter that can redirect the flow of the coal onto the first belt. If we feed the first belt, well, it's very straightforward, it just works. If we are feeding the second belt, well, at first 50% of coal would be redirected to the first belt. And then, the moments later, when the coal reached the dead end of the second belt, it would clog and redirect 100% of coal to the first belt. Quite the elementary logic, but still the logic that saves quite a lot of time during the setup of blueprints. Another bit of logic in this blueprint is to have power storage batteries on the separate power chain. This way, you can separate your power storage from the main power grid if necessary. As you can notice, everything is neatly organized on the back of the blueprint. Here are two separate power chains, and on the final stack just place the power switch between the main power and the backup power. That's it. So now we are done with the coal power plant. And it is the time to get this exact machinery layout and to turn it into the Art Deco skyscraper. Well, vertical stacking boasts some challenges. First one is water. With 8 stacks of blueprints, we have 8 pipes to tackle. And if we place 2 pipes on every of 4 sides of the skyscraper, we have exactly 8 pipes. Obviously, they will need Mark II pump for every span of the blueprint stack. This leads to the total of 8 Mark II liquid pumps per one single blueprint. And it can seem like the waste of power since, well, we need only to pump every pipe of water until it's level. So over here we can be a bit smart and to create a system with a fake bypass and omnidirectional water sockets. Logic is quite simple. If there is no water in the pipe, well, then there is no power consumption for the pumps. Simple as that. Every blueprint have total of 8 lower sockets that are connected to a single water loop. And then there are 8 fake upper sockets for the aesthetics reasons. This system works like this. Every pipe in every single blueprint is technically a bypass of functional water socket by the default. Alright, you want to connect one of the pipes to the functional water socket. First, remove the existing pipe. Then, connect the new pipe to the real water socket from the pump down below. And, to finish up the exterior, just connect the empty upper fake socket to the upper water pump in the next blueprint. On the next level, go to the next water pipe and repeat the process. Obviously, water pipes do not snap together just like belts or power cables in the blueprints, and this requires extra connections between the blueprints itself for all 8 pipes. These skyscraper shenanigans are quite tricky to set up without, well, the hover pack, but well, ladders is still a thing, and after all, well, the drip over function is the way. So yeah, ladders, here we go. The next step is to deal with belts and coal itself. While we can easily go and upgrade all the belts to Mark V in the horizontally stacked coal power plants, well, it will be not the case for the skyscraper, so we are sort of like stuck with the Mark IV. Once again, we need to be smart and to use both vertical manifolds and omnidirectional sockets. We need to feed total of 780 coal with Mark IV belts. Quite a task. This requires 2 Mark IV belts. Since we are not making different blueprints for every single level, but rather the universal single blueprint, it should have the sockets that work with either belt. If in the previous horizontal system we had omnidirectional sockets on the opposite sides of the blueprint, here we have 2 sockets on the side-by-side basis with a simple merger behind. So regardless of the sockets, you can just feed all the coal to the coal power generators. Obviously, in 7 out of 8 times we need to feed that coal belt upstairs into the next blueprint. And this results in the addition of reversed system for omnidirectional manifold with the use of a simple splitter. Regardless the connection point, coal would get to the end destination. Either you connect in over here or over there, it will get either there or there. It doesn't really matter. The next step was to do the math on the split of the coal, and honestly I was like overthinking it for quite some time. And while I was writing this video script, I realized that, well, I can just brute force things in the basement before the coal enters into the skyscraper itself. In the end of the day, we want to deliver a total of 780 coal into the 8 blueprints on the belts with the maximum capacity of 480 units. Just divide it by 2 for 390 coal on every belt and call it a day. Simple as that. Yeah, and this results in simple 4+4 setup. In the lowest blueprint, one belt connects to the lower socket and proceed from the manifold to bypass conveyor lift coal to repeat the same process 3 more times with the 3 blueprints. One connection, 3 manifolds. For the top 4 blueprints, it's just the same. You just need to bring up your belt up to the blueprint number 5 by using the bypass lane, and then just repeat the same process of connection through the manifold. One connection, and 3 manifolds. Where it's tricky is to make the simple load balancing of 780 ore into two 390 splits, and I just placed for this 2 sets of splitter merger combo in the building base blueprint. The splitter is the smart splitter because, well, without the smart splitter you need to make way more bulkier system, and smart splitter just have the overflow setting. If it's actually clogging on one side, it will redirect the coal onto the other side, and it's the same for the second belt. It actually works in every feasible configuration, so you can connect just the split of 780 into, well, 2 lanes with a simple splitter, or you can connect 480 coal on one socket and 300 coal on another. Building base blueprint also have convenient funnel for all those 8 water pipes. And then there is the power switch logic with the 3 switches, 1 switch for the coal generators, 1 switch for, well, the backup power, and there is the bypass where you can connect the backup power to the main power grid itself by bypassing the coal generators itself. On the top we have decorative blueprint with extra set of 16 power storage batteries, so the total amount of the power storage is 8 gigawatts of power, which is, well, the double of the power output of this blueprint, which is kinda neat. And the top design is the reference to the Eastern Columbia building in Los Angeles. There are 2 versions with the letters West and the letters Coal, and both versions are inside of the blueprint pack. The simple horizontal coal power plant is available for free on my Patreon, you just need to sign up, and the early access to Art Deco Skyscraper pack is available on the lowest tier of Patreon things. Humble thanks to almost 100 people supporting me and my work on the Patreon, and shout out to this week new members Abun SSR and Dylan, is the tip of Mr. Hamilton. Once again, this support is crucial and allow me to spend all that extra time every week to plan, script, record, do the voiceover, edit and publish my videos. I know there is a popular request for exterior designs like this in this video. After all, we have like ziggurat, we have sprandals, chevrons, zigzags, flying batteries and too much Caterium paint. And this video is already quite long to get like 10 extra minutes on the separate topic for 20% of people who are still watching at this point. So yeah, separate topic, separate video. Today we have the coal power generation and vertical stacking for the skyscrapers. And as always, huge thanks for watching. Have a nice one, and Yakez, well, Yakez would go and make some omelette with cheese, mushrooms and pepperoni, and then would go out to touch some yellow grass while I can in Northern Hemisphere.